You know that feeling, right? That light bulb moment. The business idea that just feels so brilliant, so obvious. You can't believe no one's done it before. But, that initial spark, that's actually the easy part. The really hard part is turning that idea into a business that actually works. And the reality check can be pretty harsh.
So let's just start with a number that kind of explains everything. According to Investopedia, a whopping 35% of startups don't fail because the tech was bad or the team wasn't good enough. Nope. They fail for one super simple reason: there was no market need. They built something that, when it came down to it, nobody actually wanted to buy.
And that leads us to the most important question of all. How do you make sure you don't become one of those statistics? How do you guarantee that the thing you're about to pour your heart, soul, and money into is something people will genuinely want? Well, the answer is a structured validation process.
So in this explainer, we're going to break down that exact process. We'll start with why a great idea on its own just isn't enough. Then we'll get into defining your market and your value. After that, we'll cover the really important stuff: how to talk to customers, how to size up your competition, and how to test your assumptions, all leading to that final decision. Do you get the green light to launch?
So let's start with the most common trap, the one everybody falls into. It's so easy to get excited and just jump straight into building your solution. But if you haven't taken the time to prove that the problem you're solving is real and painful for people, you risk creating a perfect solution for a problem that nobody actually has. Carter Caldwell from the Penn Center for Innovation just nails it with this quote. He says, entrepreneurs fall in love with their idea, and that emotional connection can totally blind them. The whole process we're about to walk through is designed to be your shield, to protect you from making that exact mistake. Okay, so how do we start? Before you talk to a single customer, before you write one line of code, you've got to do some foundational work just on paper. And it's all about defining two critical things: who are you selling to, and what unique value are you offering them? First up, your target market. And let me be clear, the answer is not everyone. It's a specific, well-defined group of people. The more precise you can be here, thinking about their age, their habits, their real needs, the more focused every single thing you do later on will be. Founder Ryan Glasgow has some really killer advice on this. He says, yeah, it's common to solve your own problems, but the real magic? That happens when you find a group of people that's being completely ignored or just poorly served by what's already out there. That's your sweet spot. That's where you can make a huge impact.
And that brings us to the second piece of the foundation, your value proposition. Now, this isn't some fluffy marketing slogan or a long-winded mission statement. It's a single, sharp sentence that explains the unique benefit you provide. For the customer, it should be a total no-brainer.
Just look at the difference here. It is night and day. On the left, a taxi that arrives on demand in less than 5 minutes. Simple, powerful, you get it instantly. Then look at the right, an all-in-one integrated transportation solution. It's just a bunch of buzzwords that mean absolutely nothing. When you're crafting this, specificity is your best friend.
Okay, so you've got your foundation set on paper. Now it's time for the first big reality check. This is where your theory meets the real world. You have to physically get out of your office and go talk to the people you think you're going to help. But who you talk to is so critical. As founder Ryan Glasgow points out, you have to avoid your friends and your family. And why is that? Because they love you. They're going to tell you your idea is amazing no matter what. Strangers who actually have the problem, they'll give you the cold, hard, unbiased truth you need to hear.
So, how do you do it right? It's pretty simple. First, ask open-ended questions. Don't ask, would you use our product? Ask, tell me about the last time you struggled with this. Second, like we just said, talk to strangers. And third, this one is huge. Listen for what they're already doing to try and solve this problem. Their actions tell you way more than their opinions ever will.
So what are you listening for in these conversations? This quote from the founders of KubeCost is the absolute gold standard. You are not looking for someone to say, oh, that's a nice idea. You are looking for their eyes to light up, for them to get genuinely excited, for them to practically grab the idea out of your hands. Anything less than that is a yellow flag. Getting great customer feedback is a massive win. But remember, your business isn't going to exist in a vacuum. So the next step is to really size up the competitive landscape.
Now, the goal here isn't to copy anybody. Not at all. It's to find the cracks. Where are existing customers getting frustrated? What are they complaining about in online reviews and forums? Because those gaps, those frustrations, that's your opening. That's your opportunity to be different and to be better.
And you don't need some expensive market research firm to do this. You can be a detective. Dive into niche subreddits and see what people are really talking about. Use Google Trends to see if interest in this problem is growing or shrinking. Oh, and here's a pro tip. Go look at the 3-star reviews for competing products on Amazon. They are absolute gold mines of honest, constructive feedback.
So far, everything has been research and conversations. Now it's time to up the ante. We need to move from conversation to commitment. This is where you test your biggest assumption by asking for something more than an opinion. You're asking for a little bit of their time, or, even better, their money.
This quote from Nate Nordstrom, this should be your mantra. Sell before you build. Now, this doesn't mean you have a fully finished product ready to ship. It just means getting real, tangible proof that somebody is willing to pay for your solution before you go and invest a ton of time and money building it out. And there are some really smart, low-risk ways to do this. You could start with a super simple landing page just to collect email signups. That proves basic interest. Or you could film a quick video walking through a prototype. That tests if people even understand what you're doing. And then there's the ultimate test, taking pre-orders. That proves a real willingness to pay.
Okay, you've done the work. You've defined your market, you've talked to customers, you've sized up the competition, and you've run your tests. Now comes the big one. How do you make that final decision to go for it or to walk away?
The trick here, and this is so important, is to take your own emotion out of the decision. And you do that by setting hard, measurable benchmarks before you even start your tests. This could be something like, we need 500 people on our waitlist, or we need to get 50 pre-orders. You're looking for a clear, undeniable signal that there's a scalable path forward, one where every dollar you put in has the potential to bring back 3 or more.
So let's just recap the whole thing with a simple checklist. Number 1, confirm the problem is real. 2, define a specific market and a crystal clear value proposition. 3, get that eyes light up feedback from actual customers. 4, find a real gap in the market. And 5, test your biggest assumption with a cheap, fast experiment. If you can honestly check all those boxes, you're in a really, really strong position. And that brings us to one final thought. You can go through this entire process and prove, with data, that people want your idea. But that's just the starting line. The final, and maybe the most important question, is one that only you can answer. Have you validated your own passion, your own grit, your own willingness to dedicate the next 5, 10, maybe even more years of your life to seeing this thing through?